If you asked any Texan what the best city in the state is, they'll probably tell you Dallas. And it's hard to disagree. Dallas is a hot city to be in. It's home to America's team, the Cowboys, some awesome restaurants and bars, some spectacular museums, and several colleges. It really seems like there's something for everybody in Dallas. So it's no surprise that the city consistently ranks as one of the best places to live in the country. And apparently 300 people move here every day. Here we are driving around Dallas looking at the worst neighborhoods. Now, in order to determine where the worst neighborhoods in Dallas are, you got to know where all the bad stuff is, right? And you can measure that. Stuff like poverty, crime, the homes are run down, and the schools are really bad. Plus, I took into account what all of you guys who live in the Dallas area have been sending me. You guys know where the bad areas are too, and you've been very vocal about it. So we took that into account too. All right, so let's get going. Let's look at the worst neighborhoods in Dallas. We begin our tour of the worst neighborhoods in Dallas with a stop in 5 Mile Creek, located about 7 miles south of downtown. 6,500 people call 5 Mile Creek home, but the people who live here are struggling to make ends meet. You probably don't want to live here. The median income is just above $26,000, and 6% of people living here can't or refuse to find jobs. The place is filled with run-down apartment buildings, which I guess appeals to the residents here. Only 12% of people in 5 Mile Creek actually own a home. Most rent. But at least it's cheap. You can rent an apartment here for just about $700 a month, and you're only 15 minutes from downtown. The crime rate here, though, is 30% higher than the rest of the state. People living in 5 Mile Creek have a 1 in 28 chance of being the victim of either a property or violent crime, and that is not good. And as you can imagine, the schools aren't great, with about 77% of students graduating high school. That's about 8% lower than the U.S. average. But in terms of the Dallas area, it's going to get way worse. You'll see. At number 9, the Convention Center District. It's located in the heart of the city. It's only home to about 1,000 people. Chances are, if you've ever visited Dallas for a convention, you've been here. This area has hosted political rallies, car shows, trade shows, and more. Now, unlike some of the other neighborhoods on this list, jobs and money are not hard to find here. The median income is about $78K, which is 42% higher than the national average, so that's not the problem. And the unemployment rate's low too, it's only 3%. And real estate prices are 254% higher than the rest of Dallas's average. Most people here rent, only 9% of people own a home, and the rent's much higher than some other places on this list where people shell out about $1,400 a month. It makes sense, and the cost of living here is 50% higher than the Dallas average, so clearly money is not a problem for the people who live here. At number 8, the Urbandale-Parkdale neighborhood, located about 6 miles east of downtown. The neighborhood has seen a lot of changes over the decades, and unfortunately, it's not all positive. Today, nearly 26,000 people call Urbandale-Parkdale home. The crime rate is double the national average. Housing, and nearly 5% of people jobless. Property crime seems to be an increasingly viable option. If you live in Urbandale-Parkdale, you better get a home security system. At number 7, Southeast Dallas, obviously located in Southeast Dallas. And it seems like it's becoming a trend on this list. The schools here are bad. Only about 53% of adults here have a high school diploma, and only 56% completed 8th grade? What is going on in Southeast Dallas? Neighbors here complain that there's gunshots almost every night, people blasting our music late into the night, and there's a ton of stray dogs just roaming around. Don't move to Southeast Dallas, people. At number 6, Wolf Creek, located about 15 minutes south of downtown and home to just over 36,000 people. Wolf Creek follows many of the same patterns as the other neighborhoods on this list: skyrocketing crime rates, low wages, and terrible home values. Neighbors in Wolf Creek are making a median income of just about $37,000, and that's 33% lower than the national average. About 6% of people here can't find jobs or won't work, and real estate prices are 51% lower than the Dallas average. The median home value here is just about $70,000, and that's the 5th worst in the state. It's clear there's not much demand to live in Wolf Creek. I guess it's a good option if you want to be close to downtown without breaking the bank. I mean, you can rent an apartment here for just under $700 a month. But the savings may not be worth it, since you're going to have to deal with a violent crime rate that's 230% higher than the national average. A worrying 1,100 violent crimes per 100,000 people means that 1 in 92 people are going to experience a violent crime while they live here. You're just minutes from the Golf Club of Dallas. But I doubt that dropping a couple $100 a month on golf is going to be your thing if you live in Wolf Creek. At number 5, Eagle Ford, located just 15 minutes west of downtown. Eagle Ford is home to 27,000 people. Neighbors here are struggling, which is sad. 8% of residents can't find jobs, and those who can aren't earning much. The median household income is just under $37,000, and that's 33% lower than the national average. Economics aside, Eagle Ford is just a sketchy area of Dallas. Property crime has become a major issue here with a rate of 3,400 per 100,000 residents. The education system here is terrible. Just 48% of adults have graduated high school, and only 52% completed 8th grade. It's no wonder why people can't find jobs. Not many places are looking for an 8th grade education. Neighbors also complain that the streets aren't maintained. It's loud, and the police can't seem to find the person who broke into your car multiple times. But they say their neighbors are friendly, so at least there's that. Next at number 4 is Cedar Crest. This neighborhood is about 5 miles south of downtown and is home to about 63,000 people. Cedar Crest doesn't look like a bad place to live. They even have a golf course that hosts PGA tournaments, but don't let that fool you. This place is bad news. Only 58% of adults here ever graduated high school, and only 60% completed 8th grade. What is going on in the Dallas area? Why is everybody dropping out? At number 3, South Boulevard-Park Row, located about 2 miles southeast of downtown. At number 2, South Dallas. There's about 30,000 people that call this neighborhood home. And where's the worst neighborhood in Dallas? It's Northwest Dallas. That's about 20 minutes outside of downtown. Northwest Dallas is a neighborhood that's near other communities and neighborhoods, and it's up by Left Field Airport and the Stemmons Corridor and a bunch of hotels and office towers along the interstate. Just about 2,200 people call Northwest Dallas home. The schools here aren't the worst we've seen on this list, but they're still pretty bad. Only about 70% of adults ever graduate high school. So unfortunately, the future isn't looking bright here in Northwest Dallas, as it's not in the other neighborhoods we talked about. But really, these places are the exception in Dallas. If you're looking for some of the best neighborhoods, it's going to be places like Preston Hollow, Lake Highlands, Lakewood, White Rock, University Park, basically anything on the north end of Dallas inside the Beltline. Those are the good hoods in Dallas, but you can't afford them, sadly. These neighborhoods scream luxury. We're talking quiet streets, manicured yards, gorgeous homes, and prestigious schools. So if those things matter to you, move there, not to one of the places we talked about earlier, if you can afford it. Hey guys, so if anything I just talked about upset you or made you sad or mad, well then do something about it. Call your local leaders and demand change. Chip in and help those in need. Make your community better, because communities don't get better without hard work and determination. America's a great place. It just needs some more love and pride.
This is Sage, Nick's manager. This has been a Corner House Entertainment production.
And are you looking to move and need advice? I do consulting. That's right. I'll sit down and talk about where the next perfect place for you and your family should be. I do it all the time. Together, let's find you a new home that's safe and checks all your boxes. You can get my email in the description to find out how I can help you find your perfect relocation. And I can also help you find your new house, too. Email me and I'll work with you on not just helping you figure out where to move, but I can help you find your perfect home, too. That's right. Someone's a realtor now. Who wants to deal with a realtor they don't know when you can have me help you, right?